Hey friends, welcome to our Tuesday Worship Express. We are in the second week of Advent. This week we are talking about hope. Last week we talked about peace, which is what we shared last Sunday, and then this last Sunday we just had 2 days ago, we talked about hope. Is a belief and an expectation. Hope is also a season of traditions that we start. Maybe you have traditions that you like to do with your family every year at Christmas time or with your friends. Those are good things to do. Traditions are they keep us connected, right? They keep us looking forward to the hope that we're going to do it each year, do those certain things that we value. And they help keep us grounded, I think. We have a tendency sometimes throughout the year before leading up to Christmas and the season of Advent is to get a little stressed out, maybe some overwhelming feelings that can take us over. And when we know that we have certain traditions to look forward to with our family, I think it kind of brings us some peace that we can experience all of the things that are in the season of Advent that we look forward to. Last year, some of you, I don't know if you remember some of the things that we talk about, but I do remember sharing last year that each year we are different. This year I am different than I was last year. You are different than you were last year, because we grow and we change and we evolve and we hopefully grow in our faith. Something that we introduced this year to our youth group and to some friends and family is that on December 1st, start reading in the book of Luke, because there are 24 chapters in the book of Luke. And if you read one every day in the month of December, by Christmas Eve, you will have a better understanding, hopefully, of who Jesus is and what he did for us and what he continues to do for us. So that is a tradition that I would like to start, starting this year, and I've been reading. I want to start doing that every year, just as a reminder and as a refresher of who Jesus is and how easy it is to get swept away with all of the craziness and the busyness, especially of the holiday season. Speaking of being overwhelmed, sometimes in our darkest times, darkest days, we can have that feeling of being overwhelmed. I was there yesterday, and not even for a big reason, just thinking about the months ahead, the months that are to come, which, is the other thing for worrying, right? Which I have a tendency to do. Worrying or thinking about what is ahead and what I haven't done, what I haven't been prepared for, or prepared myself for. And all it takes is for that to spiral out of control, to just completely lose hope or lose the faith. And, sometimes we have to have that person in our lives that will help bring us back to a good place, to a place of faith and a place of understanding that everything's going to be okay. And we just need to have faith and hope that we will be doing the things that we need to do to get us to where we need to go. Sometimes, in order to have faith, we need to have hope. And there are 3 things that I want you to remember, if you remember nothing else. But when we start to lose hope, number 1, do not rush, especially right now. Do not rush. In Ecclesiastes 3:11, it says this. I should have had my place. 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men and women, yet they cannot fathom what God has done from the beginning to the end." Number 2, do not compare. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 30 says this, "A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones." Do not compare, which is also something that I have a tendency to do this time of year, thinking about everybody else being ahead of the game, or everybody else buying all of these presents, or, having it all together seemingly. And that's not the case. So we don't want to compare. And number 3, do not settle for less. And I don't even have to look this one up. Jeremiah 29:11, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, to give you hope and a future, but not to harm you. Those are three things that I think it's very important to remember, especially this time of year. And also, did you know that hope helps block the pain receptors in our brains? If we have hope, it can block out any kind of pain that we might be feeling, whether it's emotional pain or physical pain. If we have hope and we can hold on until we start to feel better about what's to come, it can block that pain receptor that our brain gives us. So during this season of Advent, while we get to experience hope and peace and love and joy, all these weeks of Advent leading up to Christmas, as we anticipate hope from the difficult seasons of our lives, I hope that you can feel encouraged and feel full of hope this season. It's just one of those things that we all need and we all want, and I think God gives that to us. We as a congregation, we as a community of Christians, it's good to be in conversation with people who can help bring your spirits up. You know, like I shared yesterday, I kind of had an overwhelming feeling of just kind of spiraling, and for no good reason other than that's just kind of where I was. And today's better. Even last night was better, but it really helps to get pulled back into a place of perspective and a place of knowing who God is in your life and what He has done for us, and just being present in this season of Advent and the hope of what's to come, which is Jesus's birth. So I hope that you guys are having a good week, and I hope that you can kind of get really involved in the season of Advent through your church or through your through maybe a Bible study or whatever it is that you might be reading. Maybe this is something new that you can do. Start reading a chapter every day of the book of Luke, and by the end of it, we will have a better understanding of who God is in our lives. So feel encouraged, stay full of hope, and I will talk to you next week.